right, welcome to another cool episode of Another Cool Rock Podcast. I'm your host, Steve, and I am super psyched to be bringing you my conversation with someone I've been a huge fan of since I first heard his voice in music with his first band. I'm talking about Donnie Vie, and if you know that name, you surely know the band that put his voice and songs out to the world, Enuff Z Nuff. Donnie left Enuff Z Nuff several years ago, and since then has made some terrific power pop rock, and he joined me to talk about a new limited edition 7-inch vinyl single, Plain Jane, backed with a stellar cover of the John Lennon song Instant Karma. Donnie has just signed with Wicked Cool Records, that's Little Steven Van Zandt's label, and the single will be followed by a re-release of his incredible most recent solo album, Beautiful Things, of which the song Plain Jane comes from. The 7-inch vinyl is available now at DonnieVie.com and DonnieVie.bandcamp.com, and both Plain Jane and Instant Karma are also available at all your streaming platforms. And if you're like me and have Little Steven's Underground Garage as the first station on your SiriusXM app, you'll hear Plain Jane there too. I had a blast talking with Donnie about all of that, as well as how he writes his incredible songs, how he put his songwriting process into a couple really enlightening analogies that I won't give away here. But when he described it, it was kind of an aha moment for me. You'll hear it. You'll get it. We did talk a bit about Enuff Z Nuff. In fact, that's where I had an embarrassing and hilarious lyrical faux pas. Turns out I've been singing a line from one of my all-time favorite Enuff Z Nuff songs wrong the last 30 years. Like I said, it was both hilarious and embarrassing, but I just had to leave it in the episode. You got to work without a net, folks. Sometimes you just won't fix it in the mix. All right, you got the details. Please enjoy my conversation with Donnie Vie. And also, when you're done, please be sure to check out Donnie's music at your favorite streaming platform and at DonnieVie.com. Thanks for listening. Enjoy the conversation.
All right, so I just got signed to a new label, Wicked Cool Records, Little Steven's label, great roster. So we just released a single, Plain Jane, and you can get the actual record at my website, DonnieVie.com, or you can I don't know, it's on the radio and stuff. I don't know what's going on. I'm sitting here doing an interview with you. That's as far as I can go from there.
No worries. I appreciate it. Yeah, Little Steven Van Zandt's label, Wicked Cool Records. And of course, he's got the station on SiriusXM, so I know we'll hear that there. And I know Plain Jane, of course, is from your most recent album, which is Awesome, Beautiful Things. And they're releasing that as well, correct? If I recall.
Yeah, and it never got released. It just was just available, and
I got it right here.
Yeah. Then, well, you're the guy. And then COVID came, so I wasn't able to support it. Nothing. It just died. It was just nothing. It never existed. And thank God for these guys. Now it gets a chance to see some life. Hopefully,
it's a fantastic record. It deserves a second chance, that's for sure. And Little Steven's label will get it out there. The 7-inch single, you've got an amazing cover of the John Lennon classic Instant Karma. I know. I see you back there. You're a Beatles fan. I got a Paul McCartney poster behind me. Yeah.
There's the single. You get it at DonnieVie.com. Everything comes signed.
That's awesome.
And
we'll have all the links and the details in the show notes and everything, so no one will miss that. But how and why did a cover of Instant Karma come about?
I had that when I signed with those guys. I gave them the entire record plus 4 or 5 bonus tracks to use for whatever they need to use them for, and that was one of them. I had recorded that a few years back when I just got out of the hospital. I almost died of pancreatitis or whatever they call it. Yeah, and so it's like a bunch of people came together to help me record that song and record a video for it. There's a video for it too, for anti-bullying, to bring awareness to anti-bullying. But So we had that song, and it's one of the bonus cuts I gave them, and they chose that sticking on side B. So it works for me.
Yeah, it sounds great. You really make it your own. And of course, I mean that song is just a classic, but I always whenever I hear that song, especially now with your version, the lyrics, they're timeless, right? They always seem to
Yeah.
fit to whatever the hell is going on in the world. And Lord knows there's something crazy going on in the world all the time.
Mm,
And
yeah.
there's a great message there.
Yeah, you think? Just he's he had his finger on it's timeless. John Lennon's
Yeah.
timeless. It was God working through a human being. That's all. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's that
It's
that's a great analogy. I
yeah.
mean, he was ahead of his time before he knew what time it was. You know what I
He didn't
mean?
even
It's
know didn't even know what he was doing. Wasn't even aware. It's just God working through him and the other guys, the Beatles and stuff. That was just like that was a moment in the evolution of the world.
Oh,
Yeah.
indeed. Not to get too far off on a tangent, it still amazes me, and I bring this up a lot. When I really think about just how much incredible music they packed in from like 67 to 70 in three
Yeah,
years. I mean,
crazy.
for the greatest rock albums ever. I mean, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it's like the stars aligned.
Yeah,
That's all you can
abs
say about that. Nobody went on to do anything that extreme after and not before. It's like the stars aligned, and that's just there was no way that wasn't going to happen. It was a
right,
pivotal time in the world's history.
right. So getting back to beautiful things, you mentioned supporting it. Is there a possibility of a tour and tour dates and things coming up the rest of this year? What's the
Um,
plan?
I'll do whatever the next step, whatever any demand. If there's value, yeah, I'll be there. I'll play. I'm not going to pay to play.
Right. No, I hear that. I hear that. Well, I mean, I know there's obviously a lot of fans that I follow your social media. I should say I'm a huge fan of your former band from way back from the moment I've heard For Now on the radio back in 1989.
Hmm.
So, and I have been so excited to hear each step of the way all your solo stuff because you have always been the voice for me and lyrically and what you put together melodically just has always, like I said, since day one has just always hit me.
Thank you very much. That's very
Yeah.
flattering.
So yeah, hopefully we'll get to see you on the road. I gotta say, you've been asked every possible question and answered every question about your former band, so I won't bore you with all that. But as a massive fan, like I mentioned, I've got to ask you about one song that has stuck with me forever, that has really hit me in the heart ever since, well, going on 30 years now, and that's the song "On My Way Back Home" from the album Seven. I just think that is
Oh,
one of the most wonderful, beautiful songs. And it just, every time I hear it, it just hits so hard for me. And it's just, tell me about, I got to ask you about that song. What's the story behind that song? Because it is
yeah.
just, it's amazing.
There was a lot of on my way back homes at that time. It's
Sure.
in my mind, the way I visualize it, that was pretty dark time there, The things got even darker, like a ugly dark eventually, but that was a dark time, where colors were still flowing. And that was just one of those sitting there in the middle of the night. I'm the only guy up, still out of my mind, trying to calm down or relax or whatever, and sitting there with a guitar and like so many of them that would come to me then, like
Yeah.
something like that. It's pure emotion. So it's just, it would start writing itself. I just start playing it and I'm listening to it as I'm developing it.
Yeah, that and you just mentioned pure emotion. That's what always hit me for so long now. From the moment I first heard that song, and there's a lyric in there where it builds, and you said, "I want my mommy back," and I can
My
so relate to
money,
that.
my
Was it?
money.
Have I had it wrong all these
I
years?
never had a mommy. No.
Oh my
No,
God!
I didn't have a mommy or a daddy.
I'm
I mean, I
I'm
had a
not
mother
gonna
there, but no.
sure. I'm
Give
not
my
gonna edit
money
this.
back.
I'm not going to edit this out to think, how there's just
Oh,
classic songs where you
did I
hear the
kill
lyric.
it?
No, not at all,
Oh,
man.
you
Now
must
that
love your mommy. You want your
no,
mommy.
I,
Wow.
she's no longer around, but nevertheless,
Oh, I'm
no, that's
sorry.
okay. No, that's all right. I'm going to leave this in because you know how you hear a lyric for another, when you finally hear the right lyric all these years later.
My
Um,
goodness.
yeah, but
I
now that,
must I must look way cooler to you now that you know the
oh,
real lyric.
well, hell yeah. Well,
My
like
mommy back.
even with even that one lyric change, the funny thing is I have the CD booklet here and, I've read the lyrics, but the print's really small and you just get it in your head. I mean, God, half of Elton John's 70s catalog I've been singing wrong for years, So
Some of those records, just the state of mind I was in, I let them figure the words out. The ones that were writing the artwork or whatever. They were going to do all of that without me anyway. So
yeah.
figure out what the lyrics are. Some of them are right, some of them are wrong. Some are
Well, I guess
hilarious.
they are, yeah. Well, I guess it's all in the interpretation, even if I screw up the lyric that I've been singing wrong for 30 years. But now I've
You
got a
can
whole nother,
you can tell exactly if when you listen to a song that I
I,
write, whatever I'm saying there, that's exactly what I'm going through when I write it.
I've always got that vibe from you, especially when I listen to, especially with songs on the current record on Beautiful Things. I mean, they're very autobiographical. I mean, it's you wear your heart on your
Well,
sleeve, you put it right out there.
those songs are. Now there's a lot of songs where I'm just storytelling as well. I can't say that they're all what I'm going through at the time was I've gotten in this discussion with girlfriends and this and that about that. Says no, they're not all about somebody. No, they're not all about something. No, this didn't necessarily, so there's a lot of storytelling going on about, 'cause through just using all my accumulated experience or if I'm going through something that sparks it or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of storytelling, because the songs they're writing themselves with me,
Right.
we're all writing it together but songs like On My Way Back Home, when you can just feel you can feel the mood in that. It's
Yeah.
yeah, I wasn't in a real good headspace.
Yeah, and yet it's so powerful in an odd way. That song in particular, it's the melody. It's almost uplifting. So it's
That was
got
my
this
first.
amazing
That was the
dichotomy.
first guitar solo I played on after Derek left. That was the first time I started playing all the guitar. That was my first guitar solo on that song.
Man, no kidding. See,
Yeah.
now I'm as soon as we're done with this, I'm going to put it back on, and I've got a whole new appreciation for the
I
song.
started
So
playing
thank
all
you
the
so
good.
much.
People don't even know that I played all the guitar after Derek was gone, except for some guest star spots here and there,
Wow,
some solos and stuff. I played all the guitar.
I did not know because obviously Johnny Monaco was in the band, and I know there
Yeah,
were some other guitar
he
players through
didn't
the
play
years,
on the
but
records. He didn't play on the records. I think he played a guitar solo on a song called Ain't It Funny, and that was the only song. And no, there was some instrumental thing we had on almost the last record. He played on that too. But no, I did all the guitar. I'm really proud of that. I don't get any credit for that because when somebody gets brought down, some guest star that stars on a song or plays a solo, comes and blows digs on one of the songs.
right.
The way that it looks on the record is that guy's playing guitar on the record, and so it's just Donnie Vie, rhythm guitars, and then this guy is getting the credit for like with Jakey Lee, he got credit for the whole record and stuff, and it's just, it's I did all those.
Well, man, that is really cool to know. Like now I've got a whole new appreciation for this stuff. So
Yeah,
that's
that was
fantastic.
weird. That was a weird time making that record.
I
It was like
I bet.
there's a few of those records were all one big period. It
Hmm.
was like Seven and Tweaked and Paraphernalia were kind of one big period. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
Right.
it's just that songs were just coming out of me left and right at that time. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
'cause songs are emotion.
Sure.
When you're dealing. I mean, bad emotions are emotions. Good emotions are emotions, and when bad ones are more powerful, I believe.
Yeah. An emotion really does fuel the songwriting process, right? I mean, that's where it does.
It's
Isn't
where it
that is
should,
actually
it's
where
where it
that
should come
starts?
from. It's where it should come from. I wouldn't necessarily say that all music out there is written from emotion. Some of them are scientifically, mathematically figured out,
Yeah.
but no, that's where it should be. It should make you feel something.
Right. Right. So that's a good segue into, I wanted to ask you as far as your process. So whether you were writing the Enuff Enough stuff or currently what you're up to or beautiful things, where does it start for you? Is it a melody in your head, you grab a guitar, or is it just a riff, or where does it begin for you?
It's just these little ideas that pop into my head, and I didn't always have the little voice memo and
Hmm.
on the phone, now everybody's got everything. So I didn't used to have that. I used to have to remember the fucking things. And when you're writing five or six of them in a night, it's not easy to remember them. Yeah, especially jotting down by whatever lyrics I would write to help me remember what it was or something like that. Or Chip had this little mini tape recorder, which was for all of the ideas would go on it for the rainy day, for if we run out of stuff or we need songs, we need to write songs and stuff, and those all disappeared, by the way. But
Oh,
hundreds of great ideas. But now I got one there, and so it's like something will come in and it's like just that little bit. And it'll go over in my head a few times, and I can hear it clicking. I'll be like, I better put that little idea on my little phone, my phone memo thing, and then um, when I'm in the mood or when I feel like it, I'll just pick up the guitar and start looking at a few of those, and
right.
let's explore them and see where they go.
Do you ever find where it takes a complete different turn than what maybe was on the voice memo, say 3 weeks before, or 3 days, whatever it was, where all of a sudden it's like, you know what, that might work in a different key, or maybe that's good for a bridge. I mean, the whole
Oh,
process fascinates me.
there's totally a parts department. I got a whole parts
I love
department.
that.
Yeah, that's
That's awesome.
I dig in there all the time looking for something, but I always kind of think of that as that's a last resort. I'll go in there sometimes just for listen to things and maybe grab an idea from that headspace that I was in at that time, and then work on it now. Or but sometimes I go back to those, but that's kind of like I think of that as kind of cheating, I mean, just to go trying to grab some part and stuff it in that hole, you know what I mean? So
Right.
so if I write a song, each child deserves its own body, everything deserves
Sure.
its own thing. The songs tell me who they want to be anyway. That's how they get written. We're all working together, me and the songs and the song angels. And
Right.
seriously, I mean, I'm 100%. There's things that work with me. It's just it's hard to explain. It's crazy. But yeah,
No,
that's the whole process, and it's just these things that start like tumblers in a lock. They just start falling in. It's like magic when things
yeah.
start locking together. It's like, holy shit, all of these little things here just turned into this thing, and it's fucking like, abracadabra.
I love that visual. Tumblers in a lock, right? If they all come together and they click,
Yeah,
you open it up and there's a song.
I just thought of that today. I was just thinking as I did another one of these, and I was trying to figure out, explain it, how when the parts, because it's just this guitar part, or it's just this drum beat, or it's just this bass part, or just this piano line, or something like that. But at some point here, these particular ones will click the tumblers, and then the key turns, and it's like boom, it's like this thing materializes like a flower that all just blooms in front of your eyes. It's like magic. And because I can see it, I see the song, I see the colors, I see the stuff, and it's yeah, I guess the tumblers, and I guess it's whatever, that's just my visual that I
Yeah,
kind of am seeing of the best way. I mean, they're gears or whatever, I mean,
right. No, that's super cool. You described it in such a visual process, and it's something where I would never have thought of that, but now you- you've made it visual for me too. I mean, it's kind of like now I really understand it a lot more. As someone who's, like I said a couple times, just fascinated by the whole process and how, something that's in your head, right, is
You can replace my mommy back with something cool there. You got a new
no,
visual
no.
there.
Well, there's that, but have something in your head like any of the songs on Beautiful Things, right? Where, they started in your head and all of a sudden they just became this just you got a melody, you got a solo, you got all the tumblers all came together. And
That
that
record is,
happened.
is the most magical thing I've ever experienced in my whole life. Just the whole way that thing came together. I went through a big rehabilitation program and a big treatment program thing that was like a couple of years of intense therapy and all of this stuff. And when I finished it up, man, I felt like $100. I hadn't felt, any peace of mind or anything like hadn't felt my spirit or my energy or anything in me in a long time. It just had left the building. I was just roaming around, just like a carcass, and everything was a drag. And so after that program, then I'm like, okay, now what do I do? I hadn't picked up a guitar, hadn't sang anything, hadn't even thought about a melody or a song. I didn't have one idea, never came into my head through that whole thing stuff. So I guess and when it was time, I was like, what are we doing now? And something just turned the switch on, and the song "I Could Save the World" came to me right then, and as it is, and I tracked it and I demoed it right then. And then the next song came and I demoed it right then. I think it was You're Breaking Me Down. And then there's a ballad on there that came, and they were just like bam, bam, bam. It's like, and my answer came in a real big way. It's just there's no way there isn't something going on out there that's
Right.
more than meets the eye. I mean, I've even
Right.
almost seen it once. I almost saw it once. You got your shields have to be really down, to get to
Right.
that planet. But
Yeah, no doubt. I'm glad you mentioned it because actually there was a couple songs that always stood out to me, and it's really cool to hear the background of that, of of how that came to be. And one of them was I Could Save the World, and knowing you know, what informed that the record just prior to you recording and writing it is really eye-opening. It's
it's
now,
imagine how I felt
yeah,
after, because I demoed it immediately. I hadn't sang a song. I hadn't picked up a guitar. I hadn't, my hands, my fingers were all uncoordinated. But the song came. Imagine how I felt, because within 12 hours, I had remembered how to work the recording program, my garage band, and
right,
and had my sister bring me up a guitar and some stuff, because I was all the way locked up in Michigan. I had this little place I still had to live for a little while, and just like within 12 hours, after not even touching it or doing it or even caring about any of that stuff, I Could Save the World. And I was able to listen to it, and the demo of it, I should send it to you. Or I have this flash drive. I think there's a copy of it on there. It has all my records and stuff on it. I sell it at DonnieV.com. It's a laminate, like a meet and greet. It works as a meet and greet as well, but it
sure.
flips open and there's a USB in it, and it's got all those records in it. And
I am
what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I Could Save the World. And so I was here. I heard that song basically how it is on the record, very very close. And I was like, holy shit! And then the next one came, Breaking Me Down, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. So imagine how I felt hearing these things for the first time, because I write what I like, so I like what I
right.
write. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I dig that.
Mhm.
I totally understand that. I'm so glad the record's coming back out on Wicked Cool, as mentioned, because more people really need to hear this. And one thing I really enjoy about the album, and I'm an album guy. I mean, I listen to music online. I've got favorite songs and playlists, but for me, whether I'm listening to a full album online or I'm buying a CD, like beautiful things, I've listened from
Mm.
track one to track 10 and whatever that might be. And the sequencing on this album is
Isn't it
just it
great? It's
it
yeah, the whole
flows
thing is like
perfectly.
the whole thing is like I mean, I don't want it to sound egotistical or anything, but the as far as as me as an artist, that's a perfect record. That's my complete exact vision of myself as an artist. I finally achieved it from the beginning. Little notes of Paul turning on his guitar. Paul Gillar is yeah, and it's
Oh,
starting up
sure.
all the way to the very end. It's a complete record. So it was even difficult putting it on vinyl, because you had to split it up in the middle there. And where do we split it? Do we split it here or there? And then that recently, the talk of putting bonus tracks on it, you just can't do it. It's just the record is it makes it something else, you know what I mean? It's like putting a different head on somebody,
Right.
and so yeah, it's like it's just it's if you listen to the record, and if you end up loving the record, then you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's like I wouldn't possibly dream of taking credit for it all.
Right. Well, word of advice to anybody who hasn't heard the record is going to don't shuffle. Play it from track 1 through track 10. It was meant to be that way.
Well, they're still good if you listen to them on their
Oh, sure.
own,
But yeah,
hopefully.
yeah. Like, I put stuff together in playlists, but I mean, some albums really stand out to me as far as how those songs just flow into each other.
I want to do a
Even if I screw up the
show.
lyrics.
Yeah, I want to play a show that's that record in its entirety. I did like two or three shows. I put together a band here in Chicago. It's just there wasn't enough going on to keep it together, but we did a couple of shows and we did one really good one. It's the record. I mean, all the guys that sang all the harmonies, all those big walls of harmonies, had all
Yeah.
of the stuff, and the keyboard ones I was playing and we had everything and it was like it was the most fun I ever had in my life on stage playing performing a concert, and we did that
Right.
record in its entirety, and then of course threw in New Thing and Fire Michelle.
Sure. You mentioned Paul Gilbert, and I was going to bring up, you always get some really eclectic and some really cool guests to lend a hand, whether it was the years through Enough's Enough or your solo stuff. It's you
I
got a
don't
lot of
know
friends
why
out
he
there.
loves me. I don't know why he loves me, but he does. I've always been questioning that one. When nobody else loved me, Paul loved me. He's a genius.
Yeah.
He's crazy genius. He's eccentric, and I think that's why we connect. And artistically, our energies connect. I don't know as people. I don't know, man, how fond he is of me. I wasn't always like as that free spirited is very free spirited, but
Sure.
I would say some stupid fucking things. But yeah, I just reached out to him and I hadn't spoken to him a long time and I told him I'm making a new record and I told him would you consider playing on because I with beautiful things I had that the slide part and I needed to, I tried it. It just wasn't happening. So I said, send it to him. And he says, yeah, I'll play guitar on it. And he ended up playing other tracks too. But what he did, the most thing that surprised me was that intro guitar, all of that stuff. Now imagine this before all of the going on while that's going on and stuff. Imagine just getting him just sending us the tracks, right? When it's raw and it's like this. And so you turn that on, let's start the song. You turn it, and my
Right.
co-producer is like, "What the fuck?" He goes, "What the fuck?" He goes, "He's just jamming in the intro." He goes, "I go, dude, you better figure out what the fuck we're gonna do with that because it's going. That's Paul Gilbert.
Right.
He'll never plan another thing again. And he hears something there." And so I was listening. What does he hear? Because at first, without all the other stuff there, it's insanity. But then I was like, just the idea came to me. Well, if I took like a spacey strings and play what he's playing only in reverse at the same time, where he's going up, I'm coming down, and he's coming
Hmm.
down, and I'm going up, and then through some spacey echoes and panning, and then through a nice big fat harmony in there, and all that in there. And then, like I said, that was one of those moments. That was one of those magic moments where all of a sudden that all made sense and they were all crazy parts. And all of a sudden we got Willie, you're taking off on a trip like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, going down the rabbit hole. And it sounds like we're going on a trip. That dun, 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 it's totally like the beginning of a movie or a journey or something,
It
and,
really is.
and, and what he played on there, it's like, it's insane on its own, but with that, it's like who would ever consider that just listening to that part ever call that like oh so beautiful except Pantera or somebody like that, I mean, well,
Right.
that's so
Right.
beautiful. It's but you put it in the right setting. It was like wow, he heard that before I did. He heard that before everybody. He's fucking genius.
And it works. He's
Oh,
got
it
a flair for
works.
melody. He's got a flair for melody as well. Maybe that's why it
It's
works so much.
set the pace for the rest of the record. It just set the pace. Everything, we started mixing there and everything just sort of just let it tell us who it wanted to be.
Right on, right on. So you mentioned you're in Chicago, correct?
Correct. Blue
Right. So
Island, Blue Island. It's
Blue Island.
just South Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in Minneapolis, so I know a little bit about
Ooh.
Illinois and been through there. Yeah, I was
Lock
going to ask
lock
you.
your doors. Lock your doors.
It's yeah, it's been an interesting time, and
Oh
that's
my
an
goodness. I'm
understatement.
sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that shit.
Thanks. We've been getting that a lot lately. So,
Eh.
uh, but
Hey,
it's
it could
interesting.
be worse. Could have been you.
Yeah, that's, I know. I'm glad I made, knock wood, I'm glad I made
That's
it
what I
here,
always say. Could have been worse. Could have been me.
Yeah. I was going to ask you real quick because when I think of you and I think of your career, you guys always, you know, people always say, "Oh, Chicago, Chicago," but you guys have always said Blue Island, and to me, that maybe I've driven through there. I've never been there, but to me, you're one of those bands where like Cheap Trick with Rockford, or it's not a major metropolitan area, but you guys got out of,
Oh, and that's
you
that big
broke
of
out of
a
a small, yeah,
yeah. We're a Chicago band. If you got to pinpoint, if you got to
right,
pick a general area, but when you live in Blue Island, you live in Blue Island. You don't live in Chicago. They're two entirely different things.
right, right,
This is that. That's that. They're in Blue Island. It sounds prettier than it is, but it's a
sure.
nice town. It looks a lot prettier to me now in my older age than it did growing up in it. I wasn't a big fan of it then, but
It
yeah,
it
it's a
always
pretty town. I got a
it
song
always
called Blue Island.
I know you
Yeah.
do. I got that album on my shelves over here. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it always sounded so idyllic to me. But when I really thought about it, it's how so much talent can come out of some seemingly smaller places, and how just kind of the gods collide and everything comes together, and you've got this amazing body of work.
Well, there's always, it's not a matter of that it happened to be there. It just happened to be
Right.
here that the awareness that got exposed, ones that got
Yeah.
exposed. There's great stuff out there that you will never know even exists or ever existed, and especially nowadays. Like if you love my record, nobody ever knew that existed. It basically didn't, and it never would have. It wouldn't have been for Wicked Cool Records. It wouldn't have existed. It's just so imagine all the fucking great stuff that must be out there. Just a matter of
Yeah.
finding it, and it's too overwhelming to I don't even listen to music.
It, it
I have every streaming channel.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of the greatest version of fear of missing out, right? FOMO, because there's just so much great stuff out there, and you only have so much time, and you don't know what you might be missing out there. You grab the stuff you love, then you discover, and
I guess you gotta
that's what
listen to
makes your
the
day.
radio. You gotta listen to the radio or have things going, not just your own playlist, I guess. I don't know. I don't listen to
Yeah,
music. I don't have enough artists, bands that I want to hear to make a playlist. I
right,
mean, anything that I really love and I want to hear, I've heard to death. So I don't need
right.
to hear that. It's I watch TV. I like watching shows. I like watching movies. I like to be amused and entertained in that. So when I'm listening to music, there's in some form, I'm working in my head is listening to something or heard something is not liking something or is liking something or thinking about this or maybe I should try. One thing that I always had thought of is I would like to see what something I wrote would sound like with like this modern nowadays production, this hip hop or whatever you want to call it with it
Sure.
that's called pop music nowadays. I'd like to
Yeah,
hear if I wrote something what it would sound like in that production, but I haven't run across you got to get a decent one,
right.
and but that would be a lot of that's all I want to do things that now then have some fun, creatively. I
Awesome,
don't even know
awesome.
what I was talking. I forgot what I was talking about. I'm sure it wasn't that.
Discovering new music. No, I'm
Oh yeah, I
following you.
like
I'm with you.
there's a couple things that I'll see something in my Google feed or on TikTok while I'm scrolling through that shit stuff, and there's that guy Youngblood is really fucking good.
Um,
He's the real deal. I think he's the real deal, and
I'm with you. I became a big fan. I mean,
the
he
songs.
definitely, yeah, it comes down to the songs, doesn't
Got
it? I
songs
mean,
and he's got pipes and he's got songs. That's what I care about. And the guy that if you can sit down and play your song with a guitar, sit with acoustic guitar or something and bash through your song, and be able to play it. That's a song, that I consider. There's a
I
lot of
agree.
things. I guess I don't know. I'm grandpa now. I mean, my
No,
day, you young kids with this and that. Now it's me now. And but yeah, Chapel Roan's really really great. I mean, I I kind of hear whatever's the obvious things that are out there at the gym, you hear stuff going and this and that and different people's playlists. I live in an environment of nothing but women, so women like music.
right.
And so I hear things, but there's a couple that stand out like the yeah, like I said, that young blood, and I liked yeah, Chaperone. I think she's great. Obviously, Lady Gaga and them, they all have the great songs, and all Bruno
Right.
Mars and you know Justin Bieber and all those guys. I hear them and it's great stuff. I just don't think of them in the sort of in the same. I don't know. It's not league, not their talent or skill. It's like a different whole thing for me. You know, it's
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm
I,
tired. I'm tired. I'm
And
old.
no, that's all right, man. And I won't keep you too much longer. I just really want to thank you for the time. And beautiful things. A great record. It really, truly is. I'm really looking
Thank
forward to
you.
seeing what else you might have coming musically, and hopefully get out on the road. Maybe some residency, some dates in Chicago, acoustic or not. I'll be there for every one of them. I'll make the
In
road
the
trip.
residency, the residency is totally my style. If I was gonna
I
do
think so.
something, just to stay in the same place and just like just like have it here.
I
No, but
think
that would
yeah. A cool club where the second Thursday of every night you can see Donnie V, and you never know what the set list is going to be.
as long as all the different places came here, I wouldn't want to play to
Yeah,
the same crowd every fucking night, I'll tell you
right.
that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be fun. That's right up my alley. I can't stand traveling. I can't anything stressful. I got bad anxiety, and so
Mm.
all of that just thinking about I have to mail a letter tomorrow. I start stressing about it now. I got to
Right,
do
right.
something. I have something to do tomorrow, but I have more things to do these days than I had.
Well, well, good to know. Good to know you're
Yeah,
staying busy, man. And I'm gonna help get the word out here because,
you
like I said,
too.
I've just been a huge fan. Love your music, man. Just thank you so much for the time, but
Thank you.
thank you for all the great music. I'm gonna go play the single again and play Instant Karma and Plain Jane. And man, you really delivered. I'm looking
Let's
forward
play
to
the whole
seeing what
thing.
you got
Play the
next.
whole
Oh,
record.
I've got
Let's
it right
do
here,
it. Play
man.
it right in the
Yeah,
thing. This will be that show where you
I'm gonna
just
go.
play that.
I'm gonna buy another copy of DonnieV.com. The jewel box broke. I want the 7-inch vinyl. I want the new stuff. I'm gonna make sure people
We'll
know
get it
about
to
it.
you. We'll get it to you. Give anytime you need anything you want to call, reach out. You got my contact info now. Just reach out. Anything you want to
I app-
say, ask a question, you want me to say something or this and that.
I
Okay?
appreciate it, Donnie. All
Yeah.
right, man. Thank you so much.
All right, sir. All right, brother.
Have a great weekend.
You too,
All right.
sir. Bye-bye.